You know, we've got ourselves into the most peculiar predicament. We walk around taking life so dreadfully seriously, as if the whole affair was some kind of final examination where one wrong answer could doom us to eternal failure. But what if I told you that this entire setup, this grand drama of existence, is nothing more than an elaborate game? And like any game, once you understand the rules, you can learn to play it with remarkable skill, and dare I say, with a sense of joy. Think about it for a moment. When you were a child, you played games all the time. Cowboys and Indians house pretend tea parties. You threw yourself into these games with complete conviction. You were absolutely the cowboy, totally the mother serving imaginately cookers, but you never forgot, not really, that it was play. The moment your mother called you for dinner, you dropped the role without a second thought. You didn't cling to being the cowboy. You didn't suffer an identity crisis when the game ended. But somewhere along the way, we forgot how to play. We became what I call method actors in the theater of life. We got so absorbed in our roles that we forgot we were acting. We started believing that we really are the banker, the housewife, the success, the failure. And when you forget you're playing a role, the game becomes a prison. Now, when I say life is a game, I don't mean it's trivial or meaningless. Games can be incredibly important. He plays with intensity, with passion, with everything he's got, but he maintains what we might call a light touch. The first rule of this cosmic game is perhaps the most startling. You are not who you think you are. The person you call by your name with your particular history, your specific worries and dreams, that's just your character in the game. It's a mask, a role you're playing so convincingly that you fooled even yourself. But who is the real you? That's where it gets interesting. The real you is the player, not the character. You are the awareness that can observe thoughts, feelings, sensations. You are the space in which all experiences arise and dissolve. You are, if you will, the stage on which the entire drama unfolds. Once you see this, really see it, the game changes completely. You realize you've been like an actor who got so lost in his role that he forgot he could take off the costume and go home. Suddenly you remember you are not trapped in the character. You can play it skillfully, enjoy it thoroughly, but you don't have to be imprisoned by it. Here's another rule that most players miss entirely. The game has no final winning condition. There is no ultimate prize, no finish line where you can finally declare victory and retire. The whole point of the game is the playing itself. We've been taught to think of life as a journey with a destination, but it's much more like music or dancing. You don't dance to get to a particular spot on the floor. You don't listen to a symphony to get to the final note. The meaning is in the movement, in the flowing, in the playing. But we've turned life into a race. We rush through childhood to get to adulthood. We hurry through school to get to our careers. We work frantically to reach retirement, and then we sit in our rocking chairs wondering where it all went. We were so busy trying to get somewhere else that we missed the only place we ever actually were, which is here. Now, in this moment, the game is always happening now, not tomorrow when you'll be happier, not yesterday when things were better, but right now. This is the only time the game is actually being played. Yet most of us are like people at a concert who spend the entire performance reading the program notes, trying to figure out what's coming next, instead of listening to the music that's playing right now. Another fascinating aspect of this game is that it's completely rigged in your favor. How's that? Well, no matter what happens to you, no matter what role you find yourself playing, you can't actually lose because you are not just your character. You are the entire game itself. Think of it this way. In a dream, you might be chased by a monster and it feels terrifying, but when you wake up, you realize you were both the one being chased and the monster doing the chasing. You were the entire dream. In the same way, you are not just one player in the cosmic game. You are the game playing itself. This might sound like mystical nonsense, but consider this. Every person who irritates you, every situation that challenges you, they're all part of your experience. They exist in your awareness. In a very real sense, the entire universe as you know it is happening inside your consciousness. You are not a small separate being struggling in a hostile world. You are the world looking at itself through the eyes of what you call you. Once you get this joke, and it is a cosmic joke of the highest order, your whole approach to living changes. You stop taking everything so personally. When someone criticizes you, instead of getting defensive, you might think, here's the universe playing the role of the critic. How interesting. What can I learn from this performance? When you're facing a difficult situation, instead of asking, why is this happening to me, you might ask, why am I happening to this? Because if you are the entire game, then you are not the victim of circumstances. You are circumstances appearing to yourself as challenges to make the game interesting. Now let me address something important. This doesn't mean you become passive or indifferent. Far from it. When you know you're playing a game, you can play it with tremendous skill and enthusiasm. You can care deeply about your moves while not being devastated if they don't work out perfectly. You can love fully while not being destroyed if that love isn't returned. You can work passionately while not being crushed if your efforts don't immediately succeed. The secret is what I call playing with a light touch. It's like being a great jazz musician. You know the basic structure of the song, but you're always ready to improvise. You respond to what the other musicians are doing. You don't try to force the music into some predetermined pattern. You flow with it, play with it, dance with it. Most people approach life like they're playing classical music with a very strict conductor. Every note must be exactly as written. There's no room for spontaneity, no space for creativity. But life is much more like jazz. The basic rhythm is there, but within that rhythm, infinite possibilities exist for improvisation and play. Here's one of the most liberating rules of the game. You don't have to be consistent. You are under no obligation to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago. The character you've been playing with all its limitations and problems is not a permanent fixture. It's more like clothing you can change. We spend so much energy defending our self-image, protecting our reputation, maintaining our personality. But what if you could be anyone you choose to be in each moment? What if instead of being trapped by your past, you could reinvent yourself constantly? Not in a crazy, unstable way, but in a fluid, creative way that allows you to respond freshly to each situation. Children do this naturally. One moment they're a princess, the next they're a dragon, then they're a race car driver. They don't worry about consistency. They don't think, but wait, yesterday I was a princess, so I can't be a dragon today. And here's the beautiful thing.